Um, do you think Arya and Ty make sense, or Ty and Serenity?
I would say Ty makes more sense with Arya, whereas Tanner would make more sense with Serenity if we're only talking about those two girls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the end, I would think, canonically, that Arya would be with Damien, Serenity would be with Silver, Tanner would be with Layla, and Ty would be married to Sports. But that is to say, to answer this question in particular, Ty makes more sense with Arya to me
Mm-hmm.
because the two just get along so nicely, especially the bar scene of Michelangelo's route.
Mm-hmm.
They immediately hit it off with a good conversation where Ty opens up to Arya very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Ty is generally an open person, but Arya is able to get people to open up rather quickly, and I think that those two things combined can make for a good start to a relationship to establish what do each of them want out of each other in a relationship. They're open to communicate expectations. I think they would be good communicators with one another because they are not afraid to share the deeper parts of their emotion and try to explain themselves as best they can.
So you said that Ty would be married to Sports.
Yeah.
And we mentioned the what we thought we should do like in a sequel. So do you think like Ty and Layla should date first before Tanner and Layla got together? Or you think Ty should just go straight to marrying Sports?
I think either way can work, but I do like the idea of Ty gets with Layla and he doesn't realize how much he's neglecting her being so focused on sports. Even though Layla would be his personal coach, he's not lending emotionally to the relationship that he should be, and Layla begins to feel like she's not getting out of the union what she should. And that would cause Tanner to kind of step in a little bit and say, "Hey, buddy, Ty, what are you doing here, man?" And Ty would have to come to the choice of, do I care about the sport? Do I care about the girl? Can I balance this? Leading to what we spoke about last time of eventually Ty and Layla would have to split, and Layla, through her own agency, would pick Tanner rather than setting the dog between the two people and saying, "All right, make your choice."
Yo, chat, if you guys want to know what we talked about, watch the other podcast.
What's the other one?
um, so do you think Ty likes Leia because of her voice and the anime aesthetic? Because you said the initial spark. What do you think the initial spark was?
The initial spark was saving Ty's life, but I think definitely her personality and mannerisms is what kept him around. Being able to do anime workouts is such a unique and niche thing for them to enjoy as friends that it's just it's so much fun. The concept is so much fun, and being that's something they can enjoy together that does develop the relationship even if it is platonic.
But Ty doesn't remember Layla. Like he it's a foggy memory what happened at the concert. So like, is it like he kind of has like some kind of like unconscious memory of her?
Am I mistaken? I thought in game Layla didn't recognize the boys, but Tanner and Ty do recognize Layla.
Tanner recognized Layla. Ty is also foggy about Layla.
Oh, I must have missed that detail. But
It was if you reject Ty, yeah. If Arya rejects Ty, Arya tells her like, "I think you are in love with Layla, because she's the one who saved you." And then he's like, "What?"
Are we allowed to talk about stuff that's not released?
Yes.
Okay, because in Brotherly Bond, at the end, they do make a pact. They do know. They meet Layla after the fact, learn that her name is Layla, and make a pact to say she gets to choose. We can't actively ask her out. And at that point, they do know who Layla is.
Yeah, because they meet her again.
Yeah, they meet her again, and that's when they make the pact of, we both want her, when they meet at the arcade. So they know who Layla is. But actually, you raise a good point. They may not have... Tanner may have connected the dots that Layla at the arcade is that girl. I don't remember if Ty did, now that you say that.
Yeah, because it is from Tanner's perspective, so Tanner connects the dots.
Tanner connects the dots, yeah. I guess you're right. It's never explicit that Ty does too.
Because Ty remembers like a hair color, but mind you, we have 2 different designs of Layla.
Right.
So she looks slightly different. So Ty probably doesn't connect the dot because he's naive and oblivious. So he doesn't recognize it's the same girl. But maybe there's something unconscious about it. That's what I'm saying. Like, why you think that Ty automatically likes it?
That is an excellent point. I think it would be the aesthetic and the overall bubbly personality that someone as equally bubbly as Ty would be drawn to.
Which also brings to a point of because Layla is more of the plus size nature. So like and Ty is super fit, and there's always that argument where guys would be like, oh, I want a girl who's fit. How do you think Layla broke that mold where 2 super fit guys went for a girl who is, even though she's fit, she's still plus size? Like, yeah, she's super strong, but like, how did she really, like, just like, even from just like at first sight,
how was she able to attract 2 guys like that?
Yeah.
I think it is just how strong of a person she is, and she just does have that wonderful quality that pairs well with an excitable athlete, and B, a bodybuilder who cares about his physical appearance. She just has that strength about her that a lot of other people don't. I find Tanner and Ty to not be into super girly chicks, at least beyond the initial attraction stage. And Layla just does something for them that a lot of other girls can't do.
Yeah, because when we did the bloopers, Tanner's just like, wait, are you not Layla? Then I don't want to talk to you. So
Not Layla? I don't care.
I don't care. So it's just like it's like for Ty, I feel like it's like an aesthetic, like, he probably likes the more mature looking type, or like the more anime looking type. Like, he's like it's like, oh, strong woman. It's like, oh, I like me a strong woman. So but I feel like if this was the real world, it would how some people kind of feel inferior or like caught off guard off of that. So when it's rain, do you feel like there's like a difference or something that like breaks it from reality that makes it like acceptable?
Something that breaks the attraction here from reality that makes it more acceptable?
Yeah.
I think it's just entirely possible that Tanner and Ty aren't intimidated by the thought of being weaker than a woman, or like a woman being stronger than them. Because I could definitely see Tanner and Ty having kind of like that mommy fixation. I can't find the right word for this.
Dominant mom. Mommy.
It's they're attracted to that motherly, strong figure, and they're not. They don't have a insecurity where they have to be the protector in the relationship. They would like to protect, but they don't have to always be the protector all the time. I just think they're not intimidated by the idea of a strong woman, and that they actually are attracted to the strong woman type.
Speaking of which, do you think they would be the protecting type?
I think Tanner would definitely be the protecting type. Ty would probably say he wants to be the protector, but keeps ending up being the protected.
Like, he doesn't even understand what's even going on in this situation. He's like, what's happening?
He doesn't. He's oblivious to the actual dynamic between he and his partner. But I'd say Tanner wants to be the protector, and there are times where he's kind of on equal footing where he's being the protector and the protected, and it becomes a mutual respect and support. Whereas Ty says he wants to be the protector, he's always the protected, but he's none the wiser because he's just wonderful. He's so precious.
He's like, protect the bean, the jelly bean, the
Yeah,
puppy.
there's that little dog that's always yapping at the front door, standing tall and proud that he's guarding the homestead, and he's just this little teacup poodle.
He thinks he's a pit bull, but he's just a chihuahua.
Better than a chihuahua. Not a dachshund, but yeah, you can, like a toy fox terrier, standing proud.
Do you think Ty can sacrifice his career for a girl?
I think he can once he's made aware of the choice he has to make, but I think he would be too oblivious to realize how far he's letting that go. He would let that go on for a while until someone points out to him that you're neglecting your partner for your career or your sports, and he'd have to be pulled out of that a little bit to be made to think about the situation around them. I think he can sacrifice his career for a girl. It would just be a very hard decision for him to make.
I feel like that's just something that's normal for like people who are adults in general.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like, do I want to sacrifice my? That's really something to think about. It's like, yes, in movies it makes sense, but in the real life, you gotta really think about it. It's like what we're gonna do after the credits rolled. Like,
Exactly.
so.
What happens beyond the credits?
Mm-hmm.
Life goes on. What happens beyond that?
We all became homeless. The end.
Yeah.
What? Even though the route is short, I feel like he's fleshed out, and I mentioned this before. I think it's because he's in all the routes. What do you think his strength and his weakness are?
That is a good point. I do like what you said about him being fleshed out in other routes because, for example, Damien and Ethan get the most screen time in their own respective routes, and they don't get a lot of screen time outside of them. Ty gets a good bit through all of them, and we get to see a side of him through every route, and when you put all the pieces together, you get the bigger picture of who Ty is. As for his strength and his weakness is definitely that he's dense. I keep coming back to that, but that's a trait that I see in him, is that he's just kind of oblivious unless he's already actively looking for it.
I think that's just what comes with being the golden retriever, honestly.
Kinda, yeah. Being that character that's likened to a pet dog, yeah. You're just going to get that trait out of him. For his strength, though, he is very genuine. He's upfront. He is forthcoming with what he's thinking, unless he's made a pact saying that he can't do that. And he cares. He really does genuinely care. If he's selfish, it's not intentional, but he cares.
Like, I remember in the one scene where he is with Serenity, and the one this girl and guy are like, get the leash, and they're like,
yeah,
why do humans need a leash? And he's like, don't worry. Sorry, like, don't worry about
summer
it.
Child, yeah.
He's like, don't worry about it, good boy. He's like, woof woof.
The character whose strength is loyalty and weakness is density, like a dog. Does that straight to pet. Straight to pet.
I was just like, I had to add that. I was just like, woof woof.
I replayed that route, and I remember that I'm the random boy on the beach.
Oh, that was you?
It was me, but it was from a really old take when I was still just doing extras.
Would you love me if I was the Lord?
But I remember the script being like, how am I going to love a worm? And I kept stumbling over that until I realized that it was literally written, how am I going to love a worm? It's like, that's why I can't say it straight. It's, how am I going to love a worm? Honestly, I would just step on you. I don't pay attention at the time.
No, dialogue. I was, I was just like, I mean, I wanted someone else to do the comedy, and I was just like, you know what? I'll just say whatever. And no one else was fixing the grammar. I was like, I guess it's staying in.
Yeah. I did like 5 takes stumbling over it. Like, oh, that's why I can't say it straight. Let me try it correctly this time.
Like everyone kept changing it to like a different way of saying it. So I was like, okay, so.
Yeah. There were a lot of hands in that pie. Too many bakers in the
So
kitchen.
funny. Which one do you think fleshed out his character the most in like the side routes?
In the side routes, that's a good question. I think we get a good bit of him in the Michelangelo route, honestly, because that's where he's at the bar, acting dejected over Damien getting all the attention from Layla, and Arya speaks with Ty for a while about that, helping him come to terms with what he's feeling and calling Arya a good friend after that exchange, similar to the amount of exposure we get to Tanner in Damien's route when Arya is waiting for Damien to show up to the dance.
Oh yeah, because I was trying to have a good contrast with twins. I think that's why I like their characters the most, even if they're like kind of stereotypes. It's just because like they're kind of made off of the whole triangle concept too, because they're the love triangle. Then it's kind of like the love triangle theory because they had to have like the passion for Layla. So it's like you had to have like so much intertwinement with like the your friendship with Layla, the romance with Layla, and then the bromance with your brother. So it's like there is so much that had to be put into play with them, and it's like you could only flesh out so much in like in a love interest route. So I was just like in all the other routes you have to flesh out what it would be like. So
Yeah, because that is a hard balancing act to make sure you've met all of the characters and you've given pieces of them in each route that aren't present in the others, at least not to that degree, while not making them the central focus of a route that's not theirs. And I think that was very well handled, especially in Ty and Tanner's case.